Hello, everyone. Hi, thanks for joining us. We are the Friends of Queen's Market. This is the third show we're doing at Revive FM, and it's all about Queen's Market. And thanks to Revive FM for supporting this very important subject that we're covering.
Yeah.
You may be a shopper or never been to the market before, but we want to tell you more about the market, what's going on, what we're worried about, above all, why it's really important and why we're passionate about it. So Queen's Market is a nearly over 100-year-old street market, covered street market. Mm-hmm. And the Friends, who we are, Friends of Queen's Market's been going about 22 years. And our mission is to protect and support the market. So let's introduce ourselves to who's here. We have Sant.
My name is Sant. I've been a long-time resident, well over 50 years, and used the market.
Liar.
Used the market a majority of the time. Over to you.
Oh, thanks for that. I'm new to East Ham. I've been here about 11 years, and my market used to be East Ham Market, and they knocked that down, and they put lots of flats there.
That's
but
true.
we were always promised that the market would stay, and of course it didn't. But we love our market. It's like our shopping centre. It's like our Tesco, Asda, all rolled into one.
Yep.
And we want a better market. We need it. Without the market, I don't know where we'd get especially our fresh fruit, vegetables, fish, halal meat, roll on, cloth on rolls. People make their own clothes in Newham. Haberdashery, it's fantastic. It's, I think it's priceless.
So Pauline.
Yes, I've been shopping at Queen's Market for I don't know, getting on for 50 years. Queen's Market, by the way, some of you call it Green Street Market. It's next to Upton Park Underground, and everything Stan has just said is right. It really fills a need. It sells cheap and fresh fruit and vegetables, and that's why I keep going there.
Pauline, I've got a question though. You said 50 years.
Yes.
That's unbelievable. I don't believe it.
She has a secret
But I think it's
recipe.
It's been known in various different names. It's been known as Green Street Market, Queen Street Market. Yeah. It's been known as Queen's Market. It has various names.
Upton Park
Market.
Yeah.
For everybody. And people from Wembley talk to it as Upton Park Market. So it's known everywhere, but maybe known by a different name. But it is known by everyone.
Yeah.
So
we call it Queen's Market.
We call it Queen's Market.
So I'm Lucy, and I'm an artist, and I was an East Ender for about 20 years, and in 2009 I joined the Friends of Queen's Market. We're going to talk about planning today. We're going to try and sort of figure out what planning is, and because it's a kind of strange subject that not everyone knows about, but it's incredibly influential. And we're going to try and sort of work out how it affects Queen's Market and how it has a big impact on everyone's lives. So, for example, if you look across to Stratford, you see these tower blocks. In the last 20 years, that's all happened. That's all planning, obviously. And it's private housing and student housing.
Not just Stratford. Look at Canning Town. It's like New York.
Exactly. And everything's happened behind the scenes is all planning. So we're going to try and work out, especially whether it's democratic. Which is a big talking point. So what does planning mean to each of us? So Pauline, what does planning mean to you?
Well, I've got a narrow view, and my real concern is that the planners, Newham Council's planners, have their eyes on Queen's Market. They've set their sights on Queen's Market. It's a prime site, bang next to the underground, for development, for luxury flats. Everyone can see that these tower blocks going up all over the place. They are luxury flats, expensive flats. The money that's coming in is keeping the economy going. And it's very worrying. And I'll go into this later more, Lucy. It's worrying that they are thinking, they haven't got design plans, they haven't applied for planning permission, but they are thinking, and they've told people that they're thinking of putting buildings on the Queen's Market site, which would mean the demolition and destruction of our existing market. And this is all done within a legal framework of planning now. In fact, when they come up with these ideas about putting luxury flats on the site, which they've mentioned, it's all there on their website, but their website is it's impossible to read, to be honest. Newham Co-Create.
Is that an accident?
Yeah. You'll see they're playing with these ideas. And if you say to them, why, how, what's put this crazy idea into your head to destroy our market, they will say, it's in the Newham local plan, which the planning department set up in 2012, and you lot agreed it.
So the planners are sort of behind everything that's going on.
Well, they push at open doors. You've got to have developers who want to come in and buy stuff up, but they obviously do want to buy up our market. There are the planners, yes, the planners push at open doors, and unfortunately the open door now is for selling off public assets.
It's for developers. The open door is for developers. Yeah. It's not to serve local communities. It doesn't serve them. Wherever it is, outside Newham, planners and developers do not.
Hold on, Sam, hold on. There's a housing crisis in Newham. Why aren't the council building council properties at council rents?
Absolutely.
People are living in gardens.
And that was one of the issues I think Robin Wells was dealing with. That they put notices out some years ago about we will inspect your garden, right, and we will check your shed. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. That is that is acknowledging that we haven't got enough social housing to take these people, that they are actually living in sheds. They've actually seen that. It's gone in national. Now, at what point do you sort of say that we have to do something? We have to deal with it. And it's been an ongoing problem to provide social, livable housing. This is what we need.
Pauline,
I would like to come back on, yes. Just make the point, what I said about planners is they push at open doors. The open doors is the developers who want to build luxury flats. The closed door, Sant, unfortunately, is social housing. The government does not make it easy to build social housing. And the political will, the council will say they haven't got the funds. And the political will, sadly, under all these governments, isn't there at the moment.
It's a disgrace, a national
it's a national disgrace.
Scandal.
And Pauline, you have, going back much further to when the sort of planning system came about, you've got something to say about that, haven't you? The sort of the fact that at the beginning it was supposed to be a public benefit. The planning was meant to be acting on our behalf.
People should always be put first.
Do you want to say, if I can give you my biased version? Well, no, it isn't biased.
It's the truth.
What happened was, at the end of the last century, we're talking about 140 years ago, Britain was doing an imperialist war as per usual, and they were getting the worst of it. It was in South Africa, called the Boer War. So they had to call up lots and lots of working class people, and they were all rejected at their medicals as unfit, and they really were. There were health problems that meant that, they weren't going to be any use as cannon fodder. So at that point, the government listened to the do-gooders who'd been saying, look, working class people are crammed into tiny insanitary hovels. You've got to do something about this. So the government thought, well, if we want the cannon fodder, we've got to do something about it. So the first Town and Country Planning Acts was enacted somewhere around 1907. After World War II, a lot of European countries, Eastern European countries, became communist. And a lot of people thought, hey, communism's not so bad, you know, it gives everyone a roof over their heads. So our government said, the government of the day said, hey, and somebody actually said to the government, if you don't give them reform, they will give you revolution.
They will give you revolution.
So the government hastily had a big social housing, it was called council housing then, program. And would you believe it, that the Labour and the Conservative Party, for a period, were competing as to who would deliver the most council housing. So that was an open door in those days. But then gradually over the years, we got to a situation where money makes the mayor go. The bottom line is placed above human beings, in my opinion.
So, Sant.
I mean, the thing is, just to bring it maybe 100 years on or 80 years on, my perception is that what they've done, each region nation, they've created this master plan. They create this master plan and they get planners in, they get architects in, they get these wild dreams of how they want this area to be.
Who says it's a master plan?
Who says it's a master plan? And the thing is, these master plans are never done with the consultation or approval with local residents. They've never, ever had local residents involved. They've never, ever had local people, a local forum that can, work with local people. The council or planners have never, carry the local public with them for any decision making. So how they base their decisions on how a master plan should be structured, I have no idea.
Let's go back to how supposedly it works. So the system is a system where we apparently have a part to play in it. And
supposedly.
So let's just go through, I'll just go through kind of how it supposedly works and we can see. So my lovely assistant has got a picture. Okay, there we go. It's a lamppost with a notice on it. That is the first that we all might see. Thank you. It's a lamppost. So look out for these. This is the first we all might see of a planning application that's been put into the council. So then at the bottom of it, there's a number of the application, which would be, you go to your computer, you look it up somehow on the council website, and you look at all these documents. Some big applications can have literally hundreds of documents you're supposed to look at. From that, you're supposed to, or you can write a comment or usually an objection, like you've got to write it in, but you've got to also write it in a certain way according to the planning rules. So all the way along, there's quite a lot of barriers to a lot of people doing this, which means that quite a lot of, the usual suspects, as they call them, do it because they understand it. Anyway, you put your comments in, then the planning officers in the council look at these, they make a decision about, they weigh up apparently what we've all said and what the developers want to do, and they present a report. And the thing to get a decision is voted on by our elected councillors in a committee. So they say that we elected those councillors, so then they're speaking for us and then they make the vote. But very often the story of it that we all know is that there's more going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
And it has been. And now in London, an extra thing is that in London, if it gets passed, then the mayor of London gets to look at that. This is large applications and gets to say yes or no. And so we've got that extra thing. And in fact, in the case of the market, Queen's Market, Boris Johnson, who just became the mayor at the time, rejected the plans for Queen's Market in, was it 2009? Is that right, Pauline?
Yes,
so Pauline, you were there at the time. I was there just about. And I remember actually, so what happened, it went through the regular process. There were thousands of letters and objections, but tell the story and then what happened with Boris Johnson.
Yes, I think the important thing is to take away from this is that although there are terrific vested interests, the planning department is under pressure to work with the developers, under financial pressure, under possibly unofficial pressures to work with developers. A real pushback from the community can make a difference. And that's why, in spite of all I said earlier about the way things are going, the way they've rolled back on council housing, there is a good chance for us to fight. St Modwin were developers that the council brought in 2003. And because Friends of Queen's Market didn't know much at all, so we got wise to the fact that they were there quite late. The planning application went in about 2008, but by that time, we'd got the word around. We'd had a demonstration with 200 people, which was good for Newham. Put out little journals, and generally works up quite ahead of steam. Unfortunately, we didn't have Revive Radio in those days. I think I spoke on BBC London, but I don't think never got any feedback. I don't think anyone heard me. So this is really good. But that's a parenthesis.
Pauline, how high was the development going to be?
Oh, it was going to be high. I mean, I can't remember.
31 stories, wasn't it?
Possibly,
31 stories.
It would have destroyed the market as we knew it.
It would have scarred the area.
Yeah.
But the public actually entered 1,500 planning objections. We had a sort of pro forma thing, but people really thought about it. But anyway, what happened then was the council all ticked the boxes and voted. Not all of them. One, the late Abdul Karim Sheikh voted against it. A great guy. But it went through. But then you could go to the GLA, and it was Boris Johnson. Now, quite what made Boris Johnson decide, I don't know. The Greens were onto his case. It was rumoured that he wasn't very keen on the mayor of Newham.
No.
And as mayor of London, he had pitched himself.
Who was the mayor of Newham then?
Robin Wales.
Sir Robin Wales.
But
He had pitched himself in those days as a man of the people. Boris Johnson he changes his shape,
He came down to the market, didn't he?
He came down to the market and actually got on very well with one of the traders. He bonded with him,
Was that Neil?
Yes, but
Don't say if you don't want to, Pauline.
Sorry, I said it.
Yeah, but so that's what happened there. Now that we're not at the stage where a plan's gone in, I'm sure you'll say more about it.
Yeah.
But they are thinking about it, and my hope is that if we make enough fuss, they will drop the idea of putting in the plans. But we certainly need to be Boy Scouts and Girl Guides. Be prepared.
I actually remember delivering the letter that we wrote to Boris Johnson to his house, because I got his address. But not only that, he was moving house. So I thought, and I got the new address as well.
Did you check the wallpaper?
I did. No, I did. I went. It was nighttime. I went to these two houses one was in Islington, around Islington, and I remember seeing whether anyone was there, and I lifted up the letterbox and I saw some coats. That's all I saw. But anyway, we delivered the letter because we thought, when you do it into the big old city hall, it's never going to be seen by anyone. So anyway, so Boris Johnson, the mayor, did not allow that to happen.
Yeah.
So then on the basis of it being a tower block, I think, too high, the tower was too tall, which was a planning reason. Then they went away, and this is a long time later, and you've just been saying that we're worried that the same thing's going to happen again, but we're much more prepared this time.
But the thing is, going back to the question, what does it mean to people? But for someone like me, when you talk about planners, all I used to hear in the past, and I still do now, is that corruption gets involved in planners. Planners are corrupted in some way, whether it's an idea.
No, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
I think they might take the councillors out for a dinner and a drink, but
hey, but
you know,
it's all gifts. And we've got an issue with our
hospitality, isn't it?
Hospitality. But the thing is, we've got that issue, and that's what comes out from the common man when they talk about planners. Oh, they're corrupt. Oh, it doesn't matter what you do, they're corrupt. How can you break through that thinking? How can you sort of say, yes, we can get some sort of resolution, but we can't do that unless they engage. But yet they're not engaging the public, and that is what I've got a problem with. Is the governance is not working for the people, and we need to be working for it. Our planners need to be squeaky clean, and they need to be transparent and responsible, right, at every stage of the works. And our council should be holding them to that accountability, and that they should work. And the GLA shouldn't be interfering with our local planning, and our local planning should be decided by local people, because we know what's best for us. So that is, and not the developers. And that's what we need to be thinking. And that is what is coming out from Newham residents. Because someone like me has seen it. I've seen it, you know, this corruption or this hospitality or whatever it is. Because the people, working class real people, don't get that. They don't get this system. But, you know, when it goes to a high level, things move much, much quicker.
But there is a real pushback from Newham people, because
I hope
6,000, well, over 6,000 signed the petition.
They did.
And signing the petition wasn't something that, people just signed. You know, we had to explain to everyone what it was all about. And the shocking thing was how many people were not aware that the council had got these two options on the table. For the future of the market, and we told them. So I think this is the big thing, you know, developing, getting a community pushback.
Yeah. Well, hopefully after the break I thought we were having a break. We will talk more about so-called consultation
and planning.
So-called.
The two options.
And the two options.
I want to tell people the detail. We've talked a lot about good growth. But good growth is just the icing on the cake. You know, repairs that have been messed up big time. But all the time there's been this threat to get people to agree, hey, you know, luxury flats would be okay, or they're going to do them anyway. So go ahead with the plans. Go ahead with putting in your planning permission bits.
Let's tell the story next time. After the break, we'll tell the story.
Lucy, quickly. Quickly. A failed consultancy or failed planning is when you get Rathbone Street Market where there's nothing going on. It's sanitized. There's absolutely no trade going on there. You've got very small footfall, and that is where the developers won. They gave way to that, and this is what we don't want for Queen's Market. Yeah, and I wish I had a picture of East Ham Indoor Market, because that's sanitized as well. People can just about afford the leases. It's empty. It's just empty. So I don't see the purpose of really having these developments when they are not fit for purpose. They do not create community wealth. They do not create communities.
In fact, I looked at the Rathbone Street planning application the other day, and sure enough, they talk about the market is going to be the centre of the development.
Yes, the same wording.
And if you look at all of the pictures from the 1960s, that was a very, very busy market.
Yes,
very
it was.
busy.
And of course, more recently. And then if you look at it now, of course, they don't need the market.
I was young enough to use it when I was I'd used the market. So I know what value it had.
Yeah.
You know, you used to meet friends there. People sit there. It was a fantastic market. And yet, I was told by a councillor, we was told by a councillor, they will put Rathbone Street Market somewhere. You cannot create a Rathbone Street Market. How do you get that sensibility through to councillors? You
Yep.
cannot recreate something you destroyed.
No.
It's not the same. It's a totally different entity. It requires
We're
totally
gonna
different.
Takes
we're gonna
years
talk
to build up a
Takes
market.
years.
We're gonna have so this program is about planning. Our
Yes.
previous one was about food,
Food.
about food itself
Yes.
and the health of the food, healthy food. And
Absolutely.
we're going to do another program about all markets in general and have
Yeah.
some representation from there. Right, we're gonna say goodbye for now.
Yeah.
I actually can't remember what to do. I'm going to put the volume down.
imams are available to provide you with guidance when needed. MQI London is based at 292 to 296 Romford Road, Forest Gate. We are open from Monday to Friday, 2 to 4 p.m. or alternatively, call us now on 0208 257 1786.
Revive FM 94.0 on the radio, on your mobile, and online.
I've had no missed calls.
Okay,
So-
we're back. We are back. We are Friends of Queen's Market. We are doing you another show. It's our third show, and we're very happy that we're on here on Revive 94 FM, who think that the market's a really important subject, and we're going to continue talking about this planning. So we're going to talk about this thing they call consultation, because consultation is part of the planning system, but you often find that it has been extremely superficial. I remember you said, Stan, that it's like the council decides what answer they want, and then they ask you the question, and they just take the answers that sort of go with their what they want. And we really feel that at the moment with the market. So one of the things that we're going to ask Pauline to explain is the consultation we've had on something called the 2 options for the market. First of all, we need to say that there's no planning application, which is good. There's a local plan, but that's a whole other thing we'll talk about maybe at the end. But there are these 2 options, and the options for the market have been reduced from actually 5 to 2, and this is the market going into the future. So we've been presented this sort of future plan, and what's your perception of it, Pauline? Because we've all been to these consultations and we've had a really hard time, actually.
Yes, I mean, these are not plans with the planning department. These are choices. The council calls them options. So this is the council's way of softening everybody up to the ideas of their friends, the developers, and they're having these so-called consultations. So if the plans go in, they can turn around and say to you, you've been told. So what I'm going to tell you now are the things that you should have been told about.
But Pauline, can't we tell the council what we want? Can't we say we want a better market?
I think that's
We
good.
have said that with our petition. We gave it in with 6,000 signatures, and all we got was a reply to the Friends of Queen's Market rubbishing some of our statements and arguments. Now, they should have pinned that up on lampposts, because it was 6,000 people.
Over 6,000.
Yes, over 6,000. But so we didn't engage with them on that one because 6,000 people agreed with us. Right. So at the moment, the 3 ideas that they're trying to sell to people, and they would base their plans on one of them, are as follows. First of all, there's an idea, option 1, refurbish and modernize. Now that sounds nice and innocent. That offers a health centre and improved public spaces. I guess they mean a bit more space with trees.
Who knows what they mean?
Sounds very innocent, but they would have to pull stuff down to make. They'd have to pull stuff down to get their health centre up. So something's got to go.
So the word refurbishment, it's not really refurbishment, it's not of what's there.
No, it's definitely knocking down.
Are the NHS saying we need a health centre?
Nope. I mean, no. There is a trend to have mega health centres, but patients get very upset when their local surgery gets moved. You know, you're talking about infirm people suddenly being told, hey, You've got a lovely new purpose-built health centre where they can do operations on you, and the doctors have lovely.
Who's going to pay for the
rooms.
staff in this new health centre?
Well, we never
I've
told
got a thing here. It says on this document, this is a council document, it says your future. So they're deciding for us.
Yeah.
Before we've even had a chance to decide where our future should be.
So that's option.
So this is what we have to deal with, your future. We are given and we are told what we should be getting. So we've not had a discussion. We've not had an input into our future. And this is what I have a problem with.
Yeah, and modernise, even option 1, which looks so innocent, it says modernise retail units. Well, what happens if somebody turns around and says, these retail units, they were built quickly, they're 70 years old, they're incapable of modernisation. Bang, 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 down they go, and the developer comes in. So that's just the soft option. Option 1, refurbish and modernise. Option 2 actually forks off into 2A and 2B, but both of them have
blocks of flats.
New housing. Yes, one has 254 new, and the other has 306. And one of the options puts in a health centre, community centre, library.
There's already a library on Green Street.
Yes, exactly.
There is, yeah.
And
So it's the housing is the new thing they want to add to the site.
Yes. But
So
it's not adding to the site. It's going to be a clearing of the site with option 2.
Everything's going to be
And
demolished.
they never use this dreaded word demolition, and they are saying that there will always be a market. But
They said that about East Ham Market.
and Rathbone, yeah,
the plan.
there won't be the space for the market as we know
So
it.
the planners are saying, oh, we need this housing, people need to be housed, but really,
It's a coded language.
Should
Nobody in Newham will be able to afford the rents on those flats.
So should it be a choice?
They're not going to be council
anyway?
flats.
Should it be a choice between being able to buy affordable, healthy food and other people getting a house? Surely they should be able to not jeopardize the market.
I mean, yes,
when they build the housing.
Yes, but the worrying thing is, as Stan's just said, people won't be able to afford the housing because housing for social rent, you've got to be careful with the word council housing, because council housing can be expensive housing that's built by a council, as I understand it. It's a little bit tricky, but housing at social rent, I hope listeners will remember the old bowling ground, the football ground, West Ham ground.
West Ham football ground.
Yeah.
It's now Upton Gardens with 842 flats there, of which 39 are for social rent. 1 or 2 are for something in between, like called buy rent, but you have to put down a 5-figure deposit at least. So 39 out of 842. Whether you'd get that money or amount on a prime site like Queen's Market is completely debatable. And
so the story is that when you have a housing development, it's very rare that it's built by the council. It's built by a developer. Is that right? And if it is built by a developer, that developer is
Newham Council do build properties.
They've got a company called Populo, but I've tried to check on this, Lucy, because the council has got this sort of council-owned company called Populo that's been building, and they claim they're council houses. But I asked a freedom of information question on social rent, and I got a very I didn't get an answer.
Yeah, but
actually.
the thing is,
I can tell you later.
The thing is, before that, Pauline, it had, as I said, I mentioned before, a company called Red Door, which was actually another subsidiary or a company, a building company that worked with the council, and they produced high top quality.
That wasn't run by the council. It was arm's length from the council. Red Door.
It wasn't arm's length because I think Robin Wells was quite closely attached to it somewhere. But we were getting top rate architects coming doing that. You know, I mean, I'm talking about top rate. Now they were coming involved in it, designers and what have you. But we never saw the benefit of it. When you asked questions at the committees, you got nothing back from the council. And then all of a sudden, that red door disappeared. You couldn't find any more information. And now we've got Populo. Now, even if you're talking about Populo, if you're talking about where that came from, and that's from our crest, which sits in the lobby of the town hall, and it's sit there, and it's got that, and it means working with the people. It means working with the people. That's what it means. And I can't remember what the Latin term is, but yet they are not working for the people. They're not working for the Populo. So even the buildings that they've built, there is a caveat in that if they cannot collect the rent or it doesn't work, they will actually try to. There will be an impact on social services, on other services that the council provides. So they are not, councillors are not builders. Council are not builders, not a building company.
But we want them to be, don't we?
We would like them to build if they have a clear direction where they're going with it.
We want them to build because we know, and we've said this to the council, I think, that we can the council point to a model where private flats are built around something like Rathbone Market and the market doesn't get harmed. Basically, it doesn't happen because the developers want a big profit and they're not going to support these low rents. So the only way we can keep the low rents, isn't that right, is to keep it in the hands of the council. So we want the council to be in charge of the market because right now they are, and they can charge the low rents. They don't actually quite have the profit motive that a developer would do.
Well, the council does charge low rents to the traders, but I mean, I can't emphasise clearly enough. I think following.
Pauline, can I give an example of a rent? The old football ground where West Ham used to play. I'll give you an example of a 3-bed, the smallest 3-bed flat there, and the living room, sitting room, kitchen is one room. The rent is £2,800 a month. Families in Newham can't afford that. To me, that is criminal.
That is criminal.
You see, there's two things here. People only have to use their eyes. If you look out, if you get onto a high flat of a tower block, or look over from your first floor room, you'll see cranes all over Newham. Building is going on all sorts of sites. And yet we're told that the waiting list is still 30,000 with all the buildings.
It's increasing. The waiting list is increasing.
If they were social rent, it would have made a dent on it. And over London, Shelter's said the figures are between 4% and 6%. It's like trying to empty a bath with a teaspoon.
So in other words,
never happen. So we shouldn't sacrifice our market for a dream of social rent housing, which
there's no need. There's no need.
It won't solve the housing problem. Building on top of the market, it just won't solve it.
I wish it would, but it's not going to happen. No. Newham Council is not going to buck the trend.
No.
So when you look at the planning system, you see in Newham and around the Queen's Market, it goes from the very small, a small application for redoing the canopies in front of the market, to the very big, which is the policy for the whole of Newham, which is called the local plan. Other people are meant to put in a response to that by the 20th. We're doing it right now. But what's really interesting is in the local plan is that Newham itself starts its local plan by saying how people are doing badly, they can't afford stuff, they need to be looked after. And that healthy food is an important thing. Also that 75% of the whole population is Black and ethnic minority groups. And so all those things make the market conforms to all those things.
Because the council, they talk about community wealth building.
And
well, if the market isn't,
building. which is a great example. A market is an amazing example of community wealth building. So we have all these things, and the missing link is that they're not saying, so this market is a top priority because it provides so much to the people here.
Well, they won't look at that because you're trying to give it a positive, or their narrative, which is positive. They think that they're going to convince us. They're giving their narrative, and what they're asking is to sign up to it. And they don't realise Newham does not have a bag full of idiots. We know what we're talking about. We know what we want. We've gone through years of it, and we've seen what's going on. So we are wise to it. And our planners should know. I mean, we've had a planning program that went right through Newham a few years back. And all they kept talking, and the whole conversation was being put around the 15-minute thing. This 15-minute city, this 15-minute access, this 15 minutes. But it wasn't talking about holistic things, how the community is going to develop. It was actually worrying people because they were talking about development. How are you going to make accessible development to people who are not access to the funds, right, for a good standard or decent standard of living?
Yeah,
this is where things turn into their opposites, I think. I mean, the council is happy to run these little discussion groups on 15-minute cities.
Yeah.
But how many people know that what Lucy's saying, that consultation on the local plan is going on now? They don't run discussion groups on that.
Absolutely.
And that will give them an alibi for what they're going to do for the next 10 years. It doesn't mean they have to do everything that's in the local plan. But if they come and pull down, build on your park, for example.
They want to do that in West Ham Park. They want to put a block of flats there.
Yeah. If these things, they'll say, look, there's a paragraph in the local plan, and that's
exactly
gone through democratically.
One of the people we're going to be talking to in later time is Saif Osmani, and he's always done a great critique about consultation. He's also an artist, and he once made a really superb piece of work, which was to do with those Post-it notes. Because when you go to a consultation, they put your comment up with a Post-it note, and basically they treat you like a kid, really, don't they?
They do.
And they love to provide.
They want to write the comment for you.
Exactly. But let me just describe the current thing where I've seen an example of that is the canopies at the front of the market, which were provided through this fund called Good Growth, which is a little sort of bit on the side of funding. Well, it's a lot on the side, many millions to fund, which in a way that we think is a bit, papering over the cracks. But nevertheless, they put in a planning application to change these canopies. Nobody knew about it.
No.
And I've looked at that planning application, and there are pictures of people drawing little nice pictures. And this is their example of what the consultation was. So they want to close off these canopies require some work, which means the market's closed off right now, isn't it? At the front. So if someone was passing and didn't know, they might think it was temporary.
Yeah, all the front of the market is closed.
We want to tell everyone the market's open, but we shouldn't be having some works which, make it look closed, and that takes that long.
They put a steel fence all around it.
Yeah.
To be fair, they had the steel fence with just a small notice, but the traders and the public and us were kicked up so much that they've actually plastered the steel fence with have a look, blue and orange notices saying the market is open, the market and stalls are open.
That's good, but nevertheless,
we shouldn't have had to fight like that. And it's a real inconvenience to the poor.
I think they had a walking. I think they had.
Yes, they did. The traders employed a man with a megaphone to stand at the front of the market and say the market is open. Please come to the market.
That was before they put the
that's walking up and down. I thought it was fantastic.
That's right. I think the bloke with the megaphone is just staying there. Market is open. Market is open. I think he showed them up, and I think
that was brilliant.
Yeah, the traders had to do that.
Fantastic.
Yes. So the council stepped in. No, we can do that.
But not a single person. You can see on the website for that planning application, not a single person put a comment in. In other words, we were not really told about it, and it was a year ago. and we could have definitely made comments on
Absolutely.
on what the construction was and stuff.
As I
So
said, it's a form of
this-
contempt.
Yeah.
They just have contempt for the public outside. As
Yeah.
if
But also,
we're going to give you and you're going to be happy with it.
Yeah.
We're going to give you and you're going to be happy, and that's it. All the rest is tick box, and that's what we want people out there. Our voice doesn't matter.
Yeah, we need to make it matter.
We need to make it matter.
Yeah.
really, they ought to be, I mean, I don't know what they should do, but they ought to be leafleting on this like they do when they want to tell you how to treat your dustbin.
Yeah.
They always put leaflets through, but all this stuff that they don't really want you to know goes on the website, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
very often you have to sign
The
in.
website's very difficult to
Yeah,
negotiate.
And people are busy, they've got kids, they work long hours.
Mm.
Who's going to go scrolling down the planning applications to see if there's something that affects them? Nobody.
Well, yeah.
There's another one. Your preferred. It's your preferred
Well, that was-
options.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't my preference.
No.
It wasn't
Well-
yours. It wasn't ours. So who are they going with?
They used less than 200 people who had passed by and who took part in that consultation, and they might have looked at the market, which is looking sometimes a bit run down, and thought, oh, we need to change that. And it was the way the
Well,
questions
if
were
it's looking
asked.
run down, it's down to the management of
Precisely.
the market.
Exactly. So they said that those X number of people had chosen the development option.
Well, it's a managed decline, and that's what they don't understand planning. A lot of these people that walk off the street. I've stood next to people when they first put the plans out in one of the offices, and I stood next to people they had no idea what they were looking at. I was explaining it to them, and I spoke to one of the people that were there were talking. I said, "You do know what you're talking about. That's not what you're referring to." So I said, "You need to tell these people what it is that you're trying to say to them." They had no idea themselves.
And
We're
always,
gonna. Sorry, go on, Pauline. We're going to
yeah,
wrap
and
up soon.
always when they're talking about their plans, their great plans for the market, as Sant said to people who don't know what's going on, they never mention that stuff's going to have to be pulled down. And
Yep.
you know, some people haven't figured it out. You
No,
know,
as you say, it's
that, you know, you can't have this, and
If you
something's
ask
got to give. You know, the market's only so many square feet.
if you will ask the question in a particular way, you'll get the answer. You want.
Yeah.
That you want.
So we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes, and we're going to carry on doing these programs.
Yeah,
and as I
absolutely.
say, one's going to be about different markets in London, and another one is to get you, the audience, to ring in and tell us what you want to say. I mean, I think that we want to leave you with the message that we want people to keep an eye on what's happening at the market, visit the market, buy your fantastic food
And join Friends of Queen's
Join
Market.
Friends.
engage with the
Queen's
discussion.
Market.
This is not four of us. This is
No.
a whole lot of people, and we
Yeah.
need to engage as a collective. The council cannot decide for us. It's not their view; it's our view that matters, and we need to put that message through to them. So we need to work together.
The market belongs to the people
It
of
belongs
Newham.
to the people of Newham. It's the last one left. Either we fight for it or we don't. So, and not only that, little post-its don't decide anything.
Yeah, quite. Ban the post-it note.
Ban the post-it
And
notes.
ban
Stars.
face painting for your children. They always do that as well.
Face painting.
And the poor children, they can't decide.
But the thing is, how can you have consultation in the library and the charts they have up there? I got there early, and they had all the dots and the stars already on there.
It's amazing.
I was
we could
there.
tell a lot
Maybe
of
they were from the
stories
day
about-
before.
I was there, and they had these dots and comments and post-its already there. There was nobody there.
No. Well, we need to show that up. We're showing it up by degrees.
I mean, if
And
that's
especially our
consultation,
petition.
then hey, we've got a problem.
Yeah. Well, we're going to continue with that argument.
We have
And
to.
what's another? Thank you to Revive FM again. It's great. isn't it?
Absolutely wonderful.
We're going to do more programs. What's the next one? Do we know?
We decided.
Let's go. Let's
Very
not argue in front of the lovely
Well,
listeners. How much longer have we got to the break,
We're
Lucy?
going, and I think he said 2 minutes. Where's
Well,
our producer? Maybe he's eating a sandwich, we don't know.
But the thing is, whatever we talk
Yeah.
about, I would like really people to participate. Let them
Yep.
decide where we want to take the show,
Yeah,
because
so
Our market.
this journey, it's all of us.
let's do a phone in next
Let's do a
time.
phone in.
Yes.
Let's have a chat over a coffee. Let's discuss what's going on.
Look, belonging to Friends of Queen's Market isn't hard work. You know, you do as much
Oh,
or
it
as
is.
little.
It's hard work.
You do as much or as little as you want to do. We keep you in the loop one way or another.
Right. I don't know where our producer is. Where is he? Is he? What are we supposed to be doing?
Just carry on.
He puts his thumb up. What does that mean?
Does that mean carry on?
Does it mean
Do
carry
we
on?
mean we have to stop now? Yes. Okay. So over and out. Thank you for listening.
Goodbye.
And watching.
See you
See
next
you
time.
next time.
We'll be here.